What's up all, it's Zeke the Freak, and I am back after a 6-year hiatus. I have not made any YouTube, Pokemon, video game whatsoever related videos in a very long time, so I'm excited to get back on that horse. If you've seen my videos before, welcome back, and thanks for sticking around. I see I still have some subs, so appreciate you guys. Hopefully you see this, and if you're new and you've never seen my videos before, maybe you just clicked on this because it was a Pokemon PvP video, appreciate you. Basically, this channel is now going to be dedicated to Pokemon Go PvP battles, so I'll be trying out all kinds of different teams as I attempt to hit Legend along the way, so hope you enjoy and stick around. But basically, this is just going to be a Sinnoh Cup video, as stated in the title, so the meta is a few days old now, and this battle is from yesterday, so very early into this current meta. And basically I'm going to be leading Drifblim here with a Empoleon safe swap and Toxicroak on the back line. So as you can see in the first game, it's already working out pretty well. Basically Drifblim has some good matchups in this meta and is pretty tanky and can get to that Icy Wind debuff pretty reliably even if you can't get the Shadow Ball nuke off, so definitely has a lot of play, and that Shadow Ball is pretty threatening in this meta in particular. Not a lot of resists because there's a lot of fighters. Obviously there's a lot of, Basti and anti-Basti. Yeah, so obviously you have to be wary of Bastiodon. You have some delicate matchups with Frostlass, Lucario, and obviously the mirror match is going to be tricky as well. We have the Empoleon safe swap, and so it sort of functions like an ABB line with Drifblim in the lead, and then you have two Bastiodon counters in the back in case you do run into Bastiodon in the lead, which happens at least once in this set, but in the sets that I played more recently, that's been more common. I'm seeing a lot more Bastiodon leads. Probably because people have identified that a lot of people are leading anti-Bastiodon, if you want to call it that. So yeah, Emp is there to sort of try to take back the mid game and draw out the fighter and then take a shield. And if you can't swing the mid game, then basically just trying to farm down a fighter. If you do draw out that fighter, try and farm them down with Drifblim and close with Toxicroak, and hopefully you still have shield advantage. And Toxicroak in this meta is definitely a great closer. Those counters really pummel once you've gotten rid of its checks. Really hits Bastiodon hard. You might want to shield the Bastiodon flamethrower, but if you shield once, it can't get to 2 moves, so you can pretty much just completely farm Bastiodon down, or throw the Mud Bomb if you're in that position where you think you can beat it to its move. It has some other positive matchups. It's very squishy, and obviously Psychic, especially Confusion, hits it really hard. I have seen some Crest players running Confusion instead of Psycho Cut, which obviously chunks, and Gallade is becoming a little more prominent as a answer to Toxicroak. If you've seen any videos from content creators running it, I'm sure you've seen how devastating it can be. But anyway, that's pretty much the team in a nutshell. I'm just going to jump right into this second game here as I completely one-shot that Frostlass. In comes their Empoleon, and basically, yeah, after going down 2 shields, I'm not sure why he decided to completely sack Frostlass. Maybe he thought that he could just snipe me with Powder Snows, but that didn't work out, obviously. So now we're in the mirror here. I could have come in with Toxicroak there, but I opted to come in with Empoleon to soak up that Hydro Cannon without giving up my last shield because I didn't know it was in the back line. In comes the second Hydro Cannon. I believe I opt to shield that second one because, like I said, I don't know what's in the back. So I just farmed that down. I'm not sure why he let me get that extra hit off. He could have just immediately swapped there. But anyway, in comes Drifblim. I throw my Hydro Cannon, and then, yeah, after hitting him with this, that chunks pretty well, as you can see. And I get to my next Hydro Cannon, and I decide, just in case, honestly, I wasn't sure who wins CMP there. I really should know that, but I wasn't sure, so I decided to try and catch the move on Toxicroak and just try to kind of farm down here, because he's going to have to expend energy if he wants to beat Toxicroak before I beat him. And if he does that, then all I have to do is come in and throw the Hydro Cannon and win anyway. So I figured that was my safest win con. So I'm able to just throw a Mud Bomb and take out this Drifblim here, and that's going to be a good game. So moving on to game 3 against, I forget who I'm playing here. I try to read the names. I don't leave them up for very long. PPChan44 is going to be game 3 here. So Bastiodon, very bad news. We want to get out of there immediately. I typically go to Empoleon, like I said, to draw out a fighter if there is one. In this case, they go to Roserade, who actually doesn't have that great of a matchup against Empoleon if you're running the standard Bullet Seed, Weather Ball, and I think that third move is usually either Sludge Bomb or Leaf Storm, maybe. It's kind of up in the air. But most players just go straight Weather Ball in a lot of scenarios just because it's such a spammy move. So we each have a shield down. I'm just going to try and get to another Drill Peck here. I decided to let this second Weather Ball go because I know it's not going to be enough to take me out, and I'm pretty sure I can still get to a second Drill Peck here. So like I said, I let that through. I'm in the red, but Bullet Seed's really not doing a whole lot. I'm able to get to my Drill Peck there, throw a second Drill Peck. I can either take back Switch here or get his second shield, and I'm able to do the latter. I get the second shield, and then here comes the Weather Ball right away to take me out. I'm not sure. I feel like he probably could have farmed down and kept that energy, but he opts to throw the Weather Ball right away. I'm going to come in with Drifblim here because it's just the safest play. You know, obviously counter is resisted by Roserade, so Drifblim has a pretty safe matchup here. I am going to eat this Weather Ball. I'm not going to shield that. So go ahead and farm this guy down. I don't think I throw here. Yeah, I take another Weather Ball, which is not ideal. Yeah, I actually ended up shielding that because that damage would have added up after a while. Anyway, Bastiodon comes right back, so we're going to throw that Shadow Ball and then dip the Toxicroak, and hopefully whatever is in his back line is manageable with this extra energy on Drifblim. So we start throwing the counters, but in comes Drifblim, which is obviously not something you want to see with Toxicroak. I go straight Sludge Bomb here because typically Drifblim is not going to want to shield against Toxicroak. It's the thing is like, well, in this case he's already shields down, but if he had a shield to spare, it's really 50-50 on if you want to throw a shield up against a Sludge Bomb. Obviously it chunks pretty hard even though it's resisted, but being that it is resisted, depending on the situation of the game, it might not be worth shielding. But obviously, like I said, he didn't have the shields to spare. I'm able to come back in with Drifblim though, and that farm right there was crucial. I got a little bit of extra energy on that Drifblim, and I'm able to take him out just before he hits me. I wasn't sure if the Icy Wind would have been enough to KO there. That probably would have been more optimal to throw an Icy Wind instead of a Shadow Ball against him, but in any case, I'm able to get to another Shadow Ball against the Bastiodon just before he can take me out with smackdown damage, and we're able to win that game. So, good games to my opponent there. Like I said, I mean, energy optimization is definitely the key in a lot of these matchups that are very RPS-like. So, game 4, Cresselia against Drifblim is pretty advantageous for me, unless he's running like Aurora Beam, but even then I think I probably still win. He swaps to Drifblim, and here I wasn't sure if I wanted to immediately swap, because I don't have anything that loses that hard to Crest and also fares well against Drifblim. Obviously, Toxicroak does not want to see Cresselia, but it also doesn't want to see Drifblim, so it kind of has nowhere to run on this current lineup. I opt to stay in and just try to take shields. Basically, just going to keep going for that Icy Wind bait. I do get a shield from him, and then now that we're even shields, I come in with Empoleon, knowing that I'm probably going to have to eat a Shadow Ball, which is not fun, but either way, we're able to preserve our Drifblim for later in the game. Now this is where I lose the game right here. I thought I could farm down with Waterfall, but he hangs on with just a sliver of health there, and he's able to get to his next move. I really should have just thrown the Shadow Ball, because then I would have, one switch, I would have been able to align my Drifblim with his Cresselia. But because I didn't get that Hydro Cannon off and force a shield, or shield his Drifblim there, I end up losing that matchup, and now I'm in my Drifblim versus his Empoleon. He has to tank a Shadow Ball here, or at least he opts not to shield. Maybe he thought it was an Icy Wind, but either way, I think he knew it was better to just get rid of my Drifblim here, and he knew that he could take a Shadow Ball. So I'm throwing the Icy Wind. Here comes the shield, and then he can pretty much just farm me down with Waterfall, and that's going to be a good game because now all I have left is Toxicroak against his Cresselia, and even with a shield, that's not a matchup that I can win, so I just go ahead and top left. So yeah, that game could have been easily flipped if I had just thrown that Hydro Cannon early and not tried to be greedy and farm down, but it happens. Anyway, last game of the set here, a Cherrim lead, which is still the only Cherrim I've seen in Days of Play. He swaps to Empoleon because that's obviously a bad lead for him. I know from this matchup that all I have to do is shield this one Drill Peck, and then I can completely farm down. I don't have to throw anything against Empoleon here. Although Waterfall does chunk, and with Toxicroak being so squishy, I don't have a lot of health left here. But yeah, he decides to come back in with Cherrim, which I don't think was the right call. But being up to shields, I guess he thought it was pretty safe. I throw the Mud Bomb bait, figuring that, you know, Cherrim's really squishy. He can't take a Sludge Bomb. He has to shield. He falls for the bait, and I am able to get to my actual Sludge Bomb just before going down. So he'd have to go down 2 shields here or just let Cherrim go. And he decides to let Cherrim go. So now he's down to just Lucario, and he's going to forfeit. But see, the thing is, if he was just going to forfeit, I don't get why you wouldn't just commit your second shield there. If he realized that that was his win con. I'm not sure why he opted to just let that go. Maybe he felt like it was hopeless either way, because he knew that I still had Drifblim in the back. But yeah, in any case, that's going to be the set. So a nice little 4-1 set there. And yeah, a quick aside, I'm not really loving these season encounters. Don't really need most of these Johto starters. But anyway, that's the end of the video. Thanks for watching. I'll try to upload at least once a week, like I said, if possible, so stay tuned. Please consider leaving a like or a sub if you enjoyed the video. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And see you next time.